Hey guys, yeah, I'm home, so I thought I'd give you a bit of a TGIF vlog. Tomorrow I work, but if I do a video, it would probably be during my lunch break or before I start work. I mean, originally I was supposed to be there at noon tomorrow, Pacific time, but they asked me yesterday if I could come in at 8:30. My manager, that is, my friend and manager, and I said, sure, no problem. So what that means is I have to take the 6:28 a.m. bus on tomorrow being Saturday. I have to get up really early and take the 6:28 a.m. bus to Turlock. Basically, I have to take it, switch over to another bus, or remain on it, or whatever the case is, and go to Turlock from there. The benefit, though, is I don't have to rely on calling upon my mom or any family or calling an Uber or whatever to come get me because of the fact that basically, as I was saying, because basically the bus is going to come around 4:44. I get off at 4 tomorrow, so if the schedule is right, I'll be going on a 4:44 bus, 4:45 bus, if you will, back home. And like I said, I won't have to rely on my mom or on my relatives or calling an Uber or a Lyft to take me home or anything like that. But yeah, yesterday, last night, late afternoon, early evening, as you all saw, I did a bit of a rant video, justifiably so, if you will, because of the fact that, we had a driver yesterday that needed, you could see it in the rant video yourself, which has already gotten like 31 views. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. But I basically explained in there that this guy is a new driver. And he basically said to me and the other passenger, hey, it's my first time on this route. Can you help me out? Can you point me in the right direction? And for a lot of us, basically, that have probably rode the bus, that was a first. For me, riding the bus for basically, a majority of my time, at Walmart. I mean, I started at Walmart in February 2014. I moved here at the end of October 2015. So for a majority of my time there, I've rode the bus. And never once did I ever have the driver ever tell me, new or whatever, tell me or any of the other passengers, hey, can you tell me what direction to go in because this is my first time on the route. Never had that, which is why I was frustrated yesterday. I was very, very much frustrated. And then on top of that, the night before, the driver that knew the route, they kind of knew the route, if you will, not really, didn't want to drop me off at the Burger King as a flag down or a courtesy stop, as it's known, that they got the okay for. And that frustrated me even more so. And like I said, they need to get the butts, like I said in the title of the video, and as I said in the video, they need to pull their heads out of the area where the butts are, take the butt, if you will, off their shoulders where the head should be attached, put the butt back where it belongs, put the head back on, screw it back on tight, and get their act together. Well, thankfully today, I ended up getting, not a fairly new driver, but this, even though she's Spanish speaking, I say that with all due respect, she understands better about the route because obviously she's had experience and she's getting more used to it. And with me and anybody else telling her, hey, this is where you got to stop to drop us off, she's cool with that because it is in, yes, regulated bus stop areas, but still, it's still, at least she's not, really relying on us to point her in the directions because now she's getting used to it. And then today, today when I boarded the bus at 1:56. The one thing about the bus was it was a completely white bus. It had an S symbol on the logo, and the lady basically said, basically the lady told me and confirmed with me that yes, she is the bus for Turlock for the Patterson destination. But here was the thing: the bus didn't have no fare thing in there. It didn't have no fare thing. Just like the one the guy drove last night. It had a fare thing, but I don't know if he knew how to work it. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, basically, at least, well, the point I'm getting at is at least the lady that picked me up at the Turlock stop in front of my job to come home today, she knows the route. She knows it very well. Then, when I got dropped off at the Patterson stop, I asked her, are you going straight to Newman? She says, no, I'm going to go straight to Gustine because she has to drop the bus off because it's not a regular bus that she needs. She needs one that takes, fare, if you know what I mean, as well as the day passes and all that. So she drops me off at the Patterson stop, and which is the Veterans Park in Patterson, California. And then that's when I noticed, somebody coming out of the restroom, because one of the things the bus drivers do is they use the restroom when they go to the Patterson stop area, because that's like a transit point, a transfer point, if you will, just like the Turlock Transit Center is. So I get off the bus and I'm just waiting there, and I look at the app and it tells me that 45 West is 7 minutes away from leaving, picking up its passengers. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. There's this small bus here that says start on it. Could that be 45 West? And indeed it was. And it was being driven by a bus driver I've known for almost several years since I've been on the bus. And today just happened to be her birthday, so I wished her a happy birthday while I was on the bus. But when she appeared out of the restroom area, I said to myself, please let this be who I think it is. And indeed it was, because the moment she got on the bus, turned it on, of course they have the LED sign or whatever, the light up sign on the side and the front of the bus. It goes from out of service to 45 West. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God. And honestly, I had a feeling the moment I saw her, emerge out of the restroom area, I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, oh, thank God, she's here. Because something told me she was going to be doing 45 West because she's used to doing it. She does 45 East Turlock as well, but she also does 45 West. And I was like, oh, thank God. And lo and behold, here she was, and she was doing it. But, sorry about that, but like I said, I was like, oh, thank God, thank goodness she's doing the driving. Because if there's one thing about her, is at least she and some of the other people that have stuck around from the original start rotation, original start company, at least they're willing to explain to us what's going on, give us, kind of clue us in onto what's happening. And she basically said, look, there's going to be a lot of changes now. She even said that they have been told they can't really do these courtesy stops anymore, these flag downs anymore, unless they want to. Basically, it's their discretion. In other words, basically, if they feel it's not a regulation bus stop, then you're screwed. That's it. But I explained to her before, basically, because she even brought it up to me. She even asked me about it, or something about it, and I explained to her what happened. And that's when she kind of clued me in as to what was going on. Basically, that things are changing. There are new drivers getting, put into the system and almost being put into the fire right away, if you will, when it comes to driving the buses. And I told her that the guy a couple of weeks ago that originally had told me he couldn't do it, then came back and told me and everybody else, yeah, I can do it, drop us off at these courtesy stops and everything. She understood that because she's used to it. She understood that. But that's when she said that they can't really do that now unless they want to. That's the vibe I'm getting, that, yeah, she's one of those people that will do it because she knows there's not that many stops between Patterson, Crow's Landing, Newman, and Gustine. So she's one of those people that's willing to do it. And that's great. That is terrific. But she also, like I said, she also kind of let it be known that it's up to the discretion of the driver. So if the driver basically feels like, hey, I'm not going to do it because it's not a regulation stop, they're not going to do it. That would explain 2 nights ago that person, that driver not wanting to do it because it wasn't, to them, they're trained to stop at a regulation bus stop. And I'm like, and she's telling me this, and I'm kind of registering it all, and I'm getting a better understanding, and as to what she's alluding to. What she's alluding to is like drivers like her, and drivers like this other guy that does the route sometimes on Wednesday late afternoon, Wednesdays into Wednesday evening. They'll be willing to drop us off at that at our courtesy stops, at our flag downs, because again, when you look at going from Patterson, leaving Patterson, going through Highway 33, and essentially, and basically down to Crow's Landing and to Newman and to Gustine, there's not that many regulation stops. So doing a courtesy stop makes up for that, which is great. So, like I said, she kind of gave me a better idea that people like her and this guy would be willing to do it, while others, like that person the other night, obviously being trained the way they were, are not going to do it because to them it's not a regulation stop. And when I explained to her that we had somebody that was asking us to direct him last night at the 520-something bus, she told me basically, oh yeah, you're going to get that. You're going to get a lot of that. Because, long story short, the way to sum it up of what she told me is they're still in transition mode. She didn't necessarily say they were in transition mode, but to sum it up, that's basically what it was. Or that's basically what she was telling me, is they're in transition mode. And that being the fact that you're going to get a lot of these drivers, taking these routes, a lot of these new drivers taking these routes. And some of them may not know the routes very well, or some of them may not, realize, hey, you can do a courtesy stop if you want to. Like if the passenger is saying, hey, can you drop me off at Burger King or drop me off over here? You could do that if you feel like it, but if not, explain to them in a way that you can't really, that you would do it if there was a bus stop there, if it was a regular bus stop, but you can't, so you're going to drop them off at the closest stop. So yeah, basically, she just summed it up like, it's going to be, it's going to take time for a lot of people to, a lot of the passengers, that is, to basically get used to what's going on here because, it's a whole new ball game. I mean, they let us know. She and the other drivers at start let us know towards the end of the year last year that things were coming, things were changing. And this is when I was actually working over at Dollar Tree just very briefly, or starting there. She was explaining to me that, as well as others, that, yeah, things are changing. Things are going to, be a little bit different because of the fact that they were partnering or being bought out and, put under the, roof of the Modesto Area Express, Max. So things were going to be different starting in 2022, which obviously now they are pretty much going through that transitional, stage of changing up. They got new uniforms. to kind of identify them under new management and everything. So, it's just a whole new ball game for them and the passengers. But the way I look at it still is, and I thought about this as well, walking back, as like I said, she dropped me off at the Burger King, which she understands a lot of us are used to doing, having done, because it's a courtesy stop. As I was walking back from there to here, I kind of thought to myself, okay, I get what she's saying. I get what she's saying. But I think what, bus companies like Start, even under new management, should do, Start, Max, whatever you want to call them, what they should do is, if you're going to train these new people to drive the buses as well as drive, these certain routes and everything, that, you need to train them in a way to where it doesn't interfere with people, passengers, passengers, if you will. I'm tired at work today, you could tell. Getting on the bus and having to get to their destinations. It doesn't interfere. What they should do is basically, you have the main bus, driving the route, and then if they have enough of them, use another bus as a training bus. Maybe it's a blank bus like the one I rode today out of Turlock. Have that kind of a bus follow the regular bus, the regular bus that's doing the route, so they can learn the route, if you will, from following a more experienced driver. Here's the thing. I get having a trainer sitting in the front passenger seat while the trainee is driving, doing the route. So not only can they get an idea of what the route's going to be like, but also the passengers can get to know the driver, or at least get used to him or her. And I understand that, but I think right now in this transitional period, they should do a more simpler, easier task. And that more simpler, easier task is get an extra bus, maybe a blank bus, like I said, the one I took today, from Turlock to start out with, and follow the main bus, whether or not it's a Start bus or a Max bus or whatever, it has the word Start on the side or Max on the side, whatever, big or small. What they should do is follow that bus, so that way, like I said, they get to know the route, what direction to take when it comes to doing the route, as well as even, learn maybe about the courtesy stops. Like if they follow, like let's say today they would have done that, and the training bus followed the bus that took me home today from Patterson. And then they saw that bus stop at Burger King. The trainee or the trainer in the training bus would tell the trainee behind the wheel, okay, what she or he is doing is known as a courtesy stop. And that is something that's up to your discretion. In other words, he can let the trainee know, who's driving the training bus, hey, you can do this if you want, because, sometimes it's, the closest stop to that where that person has to be. Or you can explain to them, as I mentioned earlier, that it's not you would if you could, if it was a regular bus stop, but it's not. So you're gonna have to drop them off at the closest location, and that's it. And then after they follow, and then after that, and they continue to follow the regular bus, maybe the next week or so, maybe a couple of days later, you can have them do that on their own. As a trainer, you can be there with them, while they're doing the route for real this time, and even maybe doing the courtesy stops that, people want, so that they, again, not again, but so they can basically, what I'm trying to say, get a better idea of the fact of not only is this, not only is this the route or one of the routes they're going to be, driving, on occasions, but these are the kind of stops they may have to make outside of the regular ones because of maybe the locale. And that's about it. But yeah, I still stick by what I said last night in that rant video. And again, hopefully, things will get better. Like the girl said, like the driver that I used to said to me today, and the other passengers on the bus, things are changing. They're still in this transitional period. As I said, to sum up what she said, it's a transitional period that they're all going through. And that you're going to have to deal with the fact that these kind of things are happening because of the fact that they're hiring new people and they're pretty much at times throwing them into the fire without anybody to guide them. But I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm not the only one that's going to be complaining to Modesto Area Express and the Start Division. I'm not. I guarantee you there's a lot of people that are going to be vocal about the driver back on Wednesday if they had to deal with him, not stopping in the area they want them to stop as a courtesy stop, as well as dealing with possibly the guy that drove for the first time down the route last night. They're going to get some calls. They're going to get some calls. There's no doubt about it. They're going to get emails and stuff. There's no doubt about it. And people basically are going to say, look, either put regular bus drivers, experienced bus drivers that we know of on these routes out instead of these rookies, if you will, or send a trainer out with these people so that they not only know the route or get used to the route, but also understand, hey, it's okay to do this and that depending on the locale. So, I can complain all I want, but I've got a feeling I'm not the only one that's doing it. And that's a fact. But overall, besides that, it was a pretty good day. I actually got a video out. I actually did a video, as you probably saw before this morning, before I clocked in. And I was able to upload it throughout the day. Now, I don't know what the issue is when it comes to uploading it using the Wi-Fi, the free Wi-Fi at my job. Maybe it's because a lot of people are using the Wi-Fi, customers and all. But when I used my Straight Talk LTE 5G, if you will, it worked. Yeah, it took a good chunk of gigabytes out, maybe about 2, at least. But that's not too bad right now. That's not too bad. And I got it up and I was able to post it. I was able to name it. I was able to set its premiere and everything while I was riding on the bus. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I was able to do that. And today was okay. Today was all right. Tomorrow, I have to go in early because they asked me to yesterday when I was working. Now, just in case you guys don't know, and I think I mentioned this before already, but yesterday and today I wasn't really supposed to work. Originally, my schedule had me as off on this day and yesterday. But I decided, look, if I'm only going to be working, let's say Monday and Wednesday, not Monday and Wednesday, but if I'm only going to be working Tuesday and Saturday, then that's not enough hours. I want more. And it's a good thing I got them because, that's when, like I said yesterday, my friend and manager said, hey, can you come in tomorrow early because we're going to need you? And I was like, oh, sure, no problem. And that's what I did. And I did it for next Friday as well. I did it basically for 10:30 to 6:30 next Friday, which is payday. And that gives me a little bit of time before the 7-Eleven bus comes around and picks me up. Hopefully it's not the same situation as before. I don't think it will be, because I think as you get later on into the evening, they, not only do a lot of the drivers go home, but they limit themselves to just one driver to do one last route. So in other words, the person that does the 45 East does the 45 West as well, and that's it. But Overall, like I said, it's not been too bad. I mean, the benefit about today and today's scheduling is when my mom left for work around, I would say about 6:45, 6:47, I had the house literally to myself up until 7:20, 7:22. So you can basically you can basically almost say I had the house for about, let's see, 45 to '05 is 20 minutes, to 15 is 30. So almost about 40 minutes. You could say I had it for about 40 minutes to myself. And now, since walking in here around 4:10, if you will, I've had the house for about an hour or so to myself. So basically about 100 a minute. I've had the house to myself for, let's see, it's actually 5:26 now. So I've had it for about 76 minutes to myself right now, combined with the 40, or near 40, so that's about 116 minutes I've had the place to myself. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad whatsoever. I don't know what my mom, what time my mom's going to call, because, she is working. She basically, because she did a training, I think, on, when did she do a training? She did it on Thursday, I think, or Wednesday, one of the two. She did a training, and I think it was on a day, I think it may have been yesterday, I'm not really sure. I can't think. But yeah, she did a training one of those days this past week where she stayed till 5. So I don't know if she's doing one today or not, or did one today or not, but I'll find out. I let her know I was home, so she knows that. But we'll see what happens. She may have gone to get a coffee with a friend. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, like I said, it's not been too bad. And like I said, tomorrow I go in at 8:30. Got to take the 6:28 bus. Got to be up early. I got to wake up around 5, maybe a bit earlier. Get myself ready. Like I say, take the 6:28 bus down there to Patterson, and then either stay on it or board another bus to go to Turlock, and then get dropped off there, and have literally about 35 minutes before I clock in, which isn't bad. And then basically afterwards, just, work the day away as I do. I mean, one of the things I do, and this is kind of like something I suggest a lot of people do, when you start at a certain time, what you should do is after an hour pass, if you will, is look at that new hour that's passed as when you clocked in. Basically, it's a psychological thing. In other words, when I clock in at 8:30 tomorrow, yeah, it's 8:30 to 4, but when the hour passes and it goes to 9:30, then I act like, okay, I just started. That's how I act. Even though I'll be at the register, I'll act like I just started. If you know what I mean, I'll act like I just started. And the same with 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, and all that. I act like I just start because that helps make the day go faster. Yes, it's going to be busy. There's no doubt. It's Saturday. But here's the thing. Busy or not, making it seem like I just start at certain times makes the day go by faster for me. So that's really cool. And yeah, they did put out a new schedule, and so far so good on the Sundays, to where I will be off for from then on, from going forward, basically, because of the fact that the buses don't run Sunday. I mean, if they did run Sunday, that'd be a different story. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a totally different story. But thank goodness, I'm off on Sundays, and let's hopefully it stays that way for a while, if you catch my drift. But anyway, though, guys, just wanted to come on here, do this TGIF vlog for today, the 4th, I think. Today is the 4th of February 2022. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Sorry if I sounded like I was all over the place or ramblish or whatever. Like I said, I'm tired. I worked. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Love to hear from each and every one of you on, everything I had to talk about. Again, let me know if you guys have ever had to deal with anything like what I dealt with when it comes to the bus. I would love to hear from your point of view, how you dealt with it. And that's really about it. So, until next time, guys, like I said, let me know what your thoughts are down below, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Super chats and super stickers are open and encouraged. If you could do it, I'd be really appreciative. It doesn't matter how much you do. If you can't do too much, like if you can do 1 or 2 or maybe $3, that's great. But I'd be real appreciative if you could do that. Helps me out. And, besides that, like I said, not really much, going on besides, what I just mentioned and everything. But again, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this whole thing with the buses. If you guys have had to deal with stuff like that in the past, again, give me your thoughts down below. Check me out at my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Roses Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. As well as check me out at BW Roses on VENMO. Check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses. To help support me there with the $1 or $3 tier. I am considering doing a $5 one in the future, but that would be for Q&A stuff I do. So if that happens, I will let you know. Don't hold me to that just yet. As well as check me out at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2. That would extremely be helpful as well. But again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this whole situation with the buses that I've mentioned? And again, let me know if you've had to deal with it in the past. With something similar. And that's really about it. So till next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Take care. God bless. I am out.